Welcome to the podcast. So today we're going to be talking about adaptability and flexibility and navigating life's challenges. Basically, learning how to balance structure and flexibility within your plans. Specifically when it comes to habit change, building new habits, getting on point with your nutrition, movement, all of those things. So I am all for making a plan, right? I'm a planner, Virgo, all that jazz. But one of the things that's really, really important when you're creating a plan is to recognize that you need to have flexibility and adaptability within that. So a lot of times you may make a plan and it's just there as a guide in your mind so that you can feel secure and safe and like you know what you're doing and that if you follow this plan, you're going to get results. But you also have to make sure that you're able to be adaptable and you're able to be flexible because life is fucking chaotic and it's going to throw things at you. And if you don't include that flow within your plan, then when obstacles and challenges come up, you're more likely to struggle, right? You're more likely to throw the plan out the window because you didn't account for the fact that you might miss a day or you might have to travel or you might not have groceries and then have to come up with something else, right? So putting that in your plan is really part of that last episode where I talked about self-compassion. If you aren't putting flexibility and adaptability into your plan, then you're not being compassionate, right? You're not being compassionate towards yourself and your journey and knowing that you're gonna encounter challenges and you have to plan for that. You have to allow for that wiggle room. Right? One example of this is why when I started my little morning walk journey, I didn't jump off the bat and say, I'm going to walk every morning. I said, no, I'm going to walk 3 days a week. That's it. That's where I'm starting. We're starting with 3 days a week. I was able to put that into my schedule, into my daily routine over the period of a couple months. And now I'm walking, 6 days a week. I'm walking 6 days a week. And I only was able to do that because I didn't jump off right away and say, oh, we're going to be hella structured and we're going to do it every day and we're going to do it on these days and it's going to be this really, really rigid plan, right? You can have rigidity and structure in your plan, but it's really important for it to expand and flow within the ebbs and flows of your life. One of the things that I teach to my clients that I'm having as part of a module in the breakfast habit is this concept of planning and preparing for obstacles and challenges because we know that we're going to have them, they're going to come up, and making a plan for, what you're going to do, okay? You start with the checklist of these are the things that have to get done, but then preparing and realizing that, okay, these are what has to get done. But this might happen. And if this happens, what do I do about it? Okay? Having a plan for the obstacle that's going to come up. You run through a list of the different types of obstacles that might happen and you think about it. And just the act of thinking about it, thinking about what you might do if this happens, really helps your brain begin to process that. And so that when it does happen, you're able to move through it faster without as much resistance, without as much struggle. So for example, when clients work with me and they get on a call or they write in their check-in form, oh, I was really bad and I didn't hit my workout goals this week and I didn't do this and I didn't do that. I really want you to focus on what did you do though, right? What did you do? But also, what were the obstacles that came up that made it so that you couldn't do what you had said you were going to do? And then what thought processes were you going through? How were you able to do the things that you did do? What were you thinking about? What behaviors did you do? What mindset shifts did you have to make in order to be successful with those things? With my walking journey, there's been a couple times where there's been certain obstacles that have gotten in the way, a change in my schedule, a meeting that ran late, it was cold in the morning, whatever it was. Part of that learning journey is seeing the resistance, seeing the obstacles, and then using different mindsets, different strategies to get myself to do the thing anyways. And that shift of like, okay, this has happened. This obstacle is now here. What am I going to do to support myself so that I can still show up. Okay, understand that your plans are just a guide, and having that ability to be flexible is really important. A lot of times we'll have a really busy morning and we won't be able to get to the thing that we want to do right away, and maybe we have to shift it. Like if you have to shift your workout to a later time, that having the ability to do that is really important. All right, so we are back. There was a helicopter that was going by, so I had to stop and come back. And the irony is not lost on me that this is an episode about flexibility and adaptability. So it's, 30 minutes later and we are back, and we're going to continue talking about this. It's important to recognize that when you're going through this type of journey, that deviations, if you're going to be loud, you can't be in here. It's important to recognize that when you're going on this type of journey, deviations are going to happen. And they're necessary. They're actually helpful. They help you. Oh my God, buddy. Shush. You gotta be quiet. My dog is making all kinds of noise. It's important to recognize when you're going on this type of journey that deviations are necessary and they're actually beneficial. So they teach you how to be able to handle other obstacles, how to be able to handle challenges that come up. Because when you're faced with an obstacle and you're faced with a challenge that you didn't prepare for, then you have to think about new ways of going through that and figuring out how to make it work in that situation. And that requires problem solving, and that's a skill, and that really helps us be able to continue to move forward and keep making progress. I think a lot of times when people are going on a health transformation journey, they really struggle with being able to be flexible, being able to be adaptable, because they think they have to be disciplined and show up and constantly be on and doing the right thing and have everything be perfect. And that's just not how the journey is going to look. I know for myself as an athlete, but also as someone who's always trying to improve my nutrition and eat better and support my journey. Everything, it's always gonna look different. Some days are good, some days are bad. I don't like to use negative terms like that, but some days I eat more supportive foods and some days I don't eat supportive foods, that's life, right? So being able to allow that to happen and not fight it is really important. And it can be really beneficial to hire a coach who can help you through that journey, because they know that you can still trust the process, you can still trust the plan, but having that ability to adapt and to pivot and to be flexible and see obstacles as challenges is really important. It allows you to have a growth mindset, and then from there you can feel like you're able to actually work through challenges and struggles and do it yourself. The goal of all of this at the end is that, even if you hire a coach, even if you're following a particular plan, we want you to be able to do things on your own. We want you to be able to develop nutritional habits that support your journey for the rest of your life. It's not like a one and done, get on a diet for a couple weeks kind of thing. So use your plan as a starting point. It's here I made this thing and I'm going to work from it. But I'm not necessarily going to stick to it 100%, because who knows what's going to happen. You want to allow for that possibility of something spontaneous happening, which is exciting. What if you get invited on a trip and you're suddenly going to go travel, but you had planned on doing like a really intense training program, right? You have to figure out how to work within that boundary. You're not going to say no to an adventure just because you're trying to build muscle, right? You have to try and be like, okay, how can I make this work in this new situation? And it can be fun and exciting if you bring in that feeling of, ooh, here's a new chance for me to figure out how to use the skills that I've been working on. And I like that idea of like seeing the struggle, seeing the obstacles, seeing the challenges, not as, why do I have to work through this? Why is this so hard? But seeing it more of like, oh, this is fun. I get to try something new. Like the way I think about building a business and how you have to pivot when Instagram comes out with a new feature, or something that you posted didn't get as many likes or engagement as you wanted. You have to pivot and figure out, okay, what is a better way to do this? What is a way that works with my schedule more? What is a way that works with my clients more? And that adaptability, that freedom, that flow is really something that can help support you on this journey. And ultimately, at the end of the day, a plan is just a guide. It's just a map for how to get there, but it's not the journey itself. And it's not the actual action or the implementation that is necessary. So ultimately, you may have this big grandiose idea of how it's going to look, but it doesn't look anything like that. And, we always talk about how learning and progress isn't linear. And it's not. It's ups and downs. And one thing that I want to speak to in relation to that is this idea of when people are pursuing a nutrition habit or a nutrition goal, or trying to adjust their nutrition to support their activity levels and their body transformation goals, a lot of times what they do is they sit down and they do a bunch of research and they try and learn some stuff, and they might hunt down a bunch of recipes and come up with a meal plan, and they just sit in that beginning stages of doing some research. And they don't take those first initial steps because of the fear, because of the worry that it might not work the way they want it to, or that this isn't the right plan, or that signing up with his coach is not the right coach. And I just want to affirm that it is okay for things to be messy, and for you to sign up with a wrong coach first, or for you to try a plan that doesn't work, or for you to experiment with eating in a way that maybe doesn't provide you with the results that you're looking for. Because all of those experiences provide you with an experience that can teach you something that you can reflect on and be like, this is why I didn't like working with this coach. This is why this nutrition plan didn't fit in my life. This is why, whatever it is, but it gives you information. So I would say, going into this journey, into this process, being able to be flexible, being able to be adaptable, and using the challenges and the obstacles that you face as an opportunity to reflect and to learn and to grow. Those are really important skills to practice. Like, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to look the way that you think it's going to look, and it's not going to be linear. One of the benefits of working with a coach is that they have used their plan with other people. They've gotten results with other people and themselves usually. And so they understand that they may create a plan that can work for other people and work for everybody else, but it's not going to look exactly the same, because everybody's different, and everybody's experiences and preferences and abilities and skills and knowledge and life experience and backgrounds, all of that is different. And so even if we have this one particular plan and this system that works, everybody responds in a different way. And so one of the things, when I'm developing this course that I'm working on, I'm really thinking about how are people going to be able to use this information for themselves so that they can go forward and build this new breakfast habit into their life in their own way, in a way that supports their journey, in a way that supports their goals, Yeah, I want everyone having more protein in their breakfast, but what does that look like for you? So if you're interested in figuring out how to have more breakfast, how to have protein with your breakfast, how to build this habit in the morning so that you're able to support your journey and support your change goals throughout the day, sign up for the priority waitlist. You're going to be the first on the list to get all the details, and it's a new program, so you're going to be one of the first people who can be a founding member, and I'm going to share more details about it later, but I'm really excited about it, so make sure to sign up. And hopefully some of this episode was useful for you, and you can go into your life with a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more adaptability, and really begin to trust the process while also allowing for that change, for that flow, for that embracing of different things. Anyways, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next time. Ciao!